So it seems as if they may have found their man. Let's see what's happening, shall we?
Thank you, Commissioner. Good afternoon. As the Commissioner stated earlier, a man was taken into custody today at Altoona, Pennsylvania this morning. He has been identified as Luigi Nicholas Mangione. He's a male, 26 years old. He was born and raised in Maryland. We know he has ties to San Francisco, California, and his last known address was Honolulu, Hawaii. He has no prior arrest history in New York. Members of the NYPD Detective Bureau are currently traveling to Pennsylvania with members of the Manhattan District Attorney's Office to interview this subject. This case was brought to a successful conclusion based on the coordinated effort between numerous NYPD units, including the Intelligence and Counterterrorism Bureau, our federal partners at the FBI, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, and of course, members of the Altoona Police Department in Pennsylvania. On Thursday, one day after this crime was committed, the NYPD released a photo of the shooter in this case. This picture was obtained by the NYPD during one of their extensive video canvasses. We took that photograph and we asked for the public's help in identifying this subject, and the public responded. Hundreds of tips began to pour into our hotline.
I'm sure.
Each tip was investigated thoroughly, and we began to release additional photographs as they came into our possession. The NYPD provided these photos to numerous media outlets, local, national, and international outlets. Those pictures were the type of pictures where if you knew him, there was enough of his face showing to where, yo, that's Luigi, man. Let's release the photo via television, print, social media, and online content. Luckily, a citizen in Pennsylvania recognized our subject and called local law enforcement. Members of the Altoona Police Department responded to the call, and based on their investigation, they notified the NYPD.
Wow.
This investigation is still active and ongoing.
Relatively quickly.
Thank you very much.
Relatively quickly. Very interesting. Very interesting. So, makes me wonder, well, you know what's so crazy about this whole, assassination of this man? It's brought so much attention to what insurance companies have been doing to people. I didn't see, and I didn't look at a ton of comments, but the comments that I did see talking about this, not one person cared that this man died. And I read through several, and I was like, wow, there is nothing but insurance jokes here. No one cares. I'm just like, yo, this is wild. So, I'm going to take a look at this one here, too. It seems like they might have a little bit more on this. Wow, man. I hope that this, in some way, because some people were they were equating it. They like the way they were, they didn't care. Like, people were just like, yo, you denied this and this, that, and the third in these claims. You basically gave these people death sentences. And with them taking this dude out, they felt it was justified. They felt it was for an eye for an eye. And when you're seeing the majority of the comments be like that, I think a whole lot of insurance companies at this point are definitely going to look at how they've been treating people. For it to be that slanted and people to not care, like that says something. I haven't had any issues with insurance companies personally in the past, but I have heard stuff, you know what I mean? So,
Bruce, I want to give an update now in the killing of the United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. A man who matches the description of the gunman has now been taken into custody in the state of Pennsylvania. Alexis McAdams has the update. Alexis.
Hey, Harry. Harris. Well, we never know exactly how quickly these things are going to move. All morning I've been in Central Park as these dive teams have been doing everything they can to find what I was told was the weapon because they couldn't track it down. Now investigators and NYPD police sources, Harris, telling Fox News that they believe they found a man who matches that same description of the gunman who killed that CEO in Midtown Manhattan. They found him at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Okay, that's like a 5-hour drive from where we are right now. We knew that the person of interest had possibly hopped on a bus and fled town.
I know somebody out that way.
Now we're being told they believe they have that person of interest in Altoona, Pennsylvania. So we kind of talked about this earlier when I checked in with you. Person of interest, suspect, they're keeping it at person of interest right now, and they're just saying he matches the description. But not only does he match the description for people watching at home, he also, according to investigative sources who are telling Fox News, he had the weapon they believe was used in this murder in his pocket.
Oh, well.
So this is what happens, I'm told, from police, and it's still
And most likely it's him. If he looks like him and he's got the weapon on him.
Developing, but this person's at this McDonald's in Altoona. We've been putting these pictures out all across the country because it's been a nationwide manhunt. So they've been asking people, do you recognize this man in the photo?
But wait a minute. This guy is wearing a different jacket than what was used during the killing. So is this the guy? Or what was she just said he had the weapon on him? So guess he made a change of clothes and that's really him. Possibly.
We want to talk to him. We think he was linked to this ongoing investigation. Well, somebody, Harris, said that McDonald's in Pennsylvania recognized him, called it into local police, and here we are right now. So if this ends up panning out and they are going to question this guy in Pennsylvania, we could have a huge break in this case. This comes as that CEO is having a private funeral right now in Minneapolis area where he was from. He was just in town for business where he was gunned down. Back out here live, you know, the question is, what's the motive at this time? Could it be linked to his job? Yeah. What exactly?
All right.
That's what I can't wait to find out. Why did you do it? Why did you write the words on the bullet casings?
Alexis, I want to bring my team in who's with me now so we can kind of work through all of the great reporting that you've just done. A suspected assassin was located, seen, witnesses were able to make a match at a McDonald's in Pennsylvania. And so, Andrew, I come to you first because he'll be extradited back to New Jersey. I don't even know if you call it that because we basically have like one state down shore. Like Jersey Shore, like this should go far south in Jersey, it is Pennsylvania. So talk to me about what happens next to him.
Well, he'll be undoubtedly extradited to New York. We have to make sure it's the right suspect, right? They have pieces right now that suggest that it's him. They're going to bring him back here, and then the prosecution begins, and that's a slow process. We can anticipate an indictment and other pieces along the way.
How impressed are you?
Well, he's going away forever.
By the fact that we didn't hear much about the DNA on the bicycle, all the places that we know there would be DNA. Even if he had on gloves, he had to sit. Right. He was doing all sorts of things, and leaving the backpack behind. No matter how careful you are, you're not perfect as a human being. How impressed are you that none of that really leaked into the public? None of what they were finding. And I know you don't want it to, but sometimes people find things out. Does that make this case against him stronger?
Well, I think there's going to be a lot more that we learn about what the police actually had access to that they didn't let us know about. I'm most interested to hear if there's accomplices or other people, either before the fact or after the fact, that are somehow involved in that.
The way the story ran, it didn't seem like there was any accomplices, but you never know.
Could be something that the FBI or the DOJ gets involved in. He may be looking at criminal prosecution both in New York as well as federally if he's committing crimes across state borders.
How does Minnesota come into play? That United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson, shot in the back, assassinated outside the Hilton Convention Hotel in the middle of Manhattan. And you heard our reporter there, Alexis McAdams, saying that funeral services are getting underway. How does that state play a role?
Well, not anything directly. I think that what we have to look at is how the killer was connected potentially to the company. Is this an insider? Is this somebody who had perhaps formerly worked there? Are they connected with people who was feeding him information? So that's the larger scope of what will be looked at.
Did he have a family member that passed away that was supposed to get some coverage that they didn't get?
That we would maybe see something from Minnesota with regard to that. All right.
Wow. There we have it, folks. Post the comments down below. Let me know what you think about this situation. If you enjoyed my thoughts, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. And I will see y'all in the next video. Can't wait to find out what the motive is, what he says, because this is going to be interesting.